Congress has lost its way. It is not listening to the regular, everyday people who churn out the economy, who care very deeply about their kitchen table issues, who try to find ways to provide for their family, to save for their kids' college, and to provide a better life, a more prosperous life for the children's future. And I think for the very first time in a long time, we feel as a nation that we do not have an opportunity to see our children's lives better than ours. And I know that just as much as all of you know it, because our kids are 6 and 5, and Morgan and I have to talk about our future planning for them. And I decided that I could either be quiet or I could take a stand and use my voice to reflect and represent the people of the 1st Congressional District in Washington. So I've got 10 more months to campaign. This is my first day of the tour that we're having. We've got a 60-stop tour in 40 communities. We're doing 7 town halls after we've done 2 already on the congressional tour earlier last year. And that's on top of the 20 town hall meetings that I did as a mayor. And I tell you that because I think it's in stark contrast to the representation that we all receive today. We have very limited access to our member of Congress. We have very limited access to the People's House. And let's not forget that the lower branch, the House, is supposed to be about you. It's supposed to be the most connected to the people. And I don't think that America feels that we have that connectivity to our representatives in Congress. That's got to change first and foremost. And secondly, we've got to demand, and we've got to keep demanding, that Congress listen to how we want government to function.
I was absolutely furious last summer when our 3 Democrat representatives played hide and seek all summer. I mean, they just didn't make this. I was tempted to say they went into the closet, but then they got to come out of the closet. But anyway, like I said, they had this one-on-one phone call where Shea-Porter would call a person one at a time, and how can you argue with somebody on the phone that's going to hang up on you when you get rambunctious there? But anyway, I would hope that this summer they're more available, and that when we have some of these hard questions that we've asking you, why we will ask them. And my last point is, 30 years ago I stood here and heard Ronald Reagan talk in the same building right where you are.
That's his microphone right there.
And I'm wishing, and I'm wishing you the very same success.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. One of the quick points I'll make about town hall meetings is in August, I was still mayor, and I was equally frustrated that our member of Congress came home and opted not to meet with constituents. And I said, well, I announced I was having a town hall meeting. And I had it in Exeter, and I said, if our congresswoman doesn't want to have it, I'll have one. And I went to Exeter, where presidential candidates have gone, went to the town hall, invited anyone who wanted to come, regardless of party. And we had maybe 150 people, and I think I stayed for 2 or 3 hours and just answered questions and had a conversation. And lo and behold, after that, I have to admit, she did announce that she was having 2. One in Manchester in the Federal Building, and one in Portsmouth in the Federal Building. Now, to go into a Federal Building, you got to go through, yeah, which I thought was a little odd. And it was limited in Manchester to 100 people. And then it was limited to 90 because of the group that she brought in. And I was in line, and I was not allowed to go in because I wasn't there early enough to get in the room. So I was milling out front, talking to people who were in line, and someone came out and said, Mayor, we didn't realize you were out here. We have 1 seat, it's for you. And I said, well, with all due respect, this young lady here, who was about 70, was in line, and she was ahead of me, and I'd like to give her the seat. And the person said, no, it's not for her, it's for you only. And I said, well, I'm not going to go in if you're not going to let her in. And her question was a very important question that she wanted to ask her member of Congress. And she had told me, and of course they didn't let her in, so I stayed outside. And she said to me, I want to ask a very simple question. 6 years ago, I was given 6 months to live, and I'm still here now. And under government-run health care, would I still be standing here today? And she started tearing up, and it was a very personal question to her. This is how serious health care is to people. And I said, I don't know the answer to it, but I'm having a town hall in Exeter. We'd love to have you there. And I'll answer your question now, and I'll answer it, there in public. And she came. And she asked me the question, and I said, I don't believe a government-run healthcare system would provide you the same access and alternatives at your age that it would offer me at my age. And I'm 39. And imagine if you're actually thinking that health care is going, if you actually feel that your health care is going to be rationed. Now, people can argue whether it's going to be rationed or not. She felt it was going to be rationed. That is no way to live your final years. It's not American, and it's not respectful. So what I learned in that moment was that access to me as just a candidate, not as even her member of Congress, but as a candidate, was so important to her and so appreciative that we are going to have town halls. I think we've got 5 more just in the next 7 weeks, and that's just a start. And this is offering to people an opportunity to see how I would be as a member of Congress and how open and accessible I would be as a member. It's not always easy standing before a group of people who may disagree with you on an issue. But I firmly believe that you have a responsibility as an elected representative, whether it's as a selectman, an alderman, a state representative, a state senator, congressman, or a governor, or a U.S. senator. You have a responsibility to your constituency to hear them. And many times have I been in a room with not 100, not 200, but 1,000 people who wanted to voice their opinion on the budgets that I proposed. Some of them agreed with me, a lot of them didn't. But I was always honest with people, and I said, I'm going to cut budgets, I'm going to reshape how we spend, I'm going to cut taxes, I'm going to cut spending, I'm going to prioritize the money that is provided by the taxpayers. And the key is where this money is coming from. This money is your money. It's not the government's money.